Ok, buenas noches a todos y a todas. Muchas gracias por acompañarnos. Estamos aquí en una sesión de webinars informativos con las universidades con las que FUNED tiene convenio. Hoy estamos muy contentos de tener a Kim de la Universidad de Vanderbilt a platicarnos sobre la universidad, sobre el Music City que está increíble y todo lo que tiene que ofrecerles a ustedes para sus carreras y bueno, para que tengan una experiencia increíble. Si quieren la sesión, Kim va a presentar y al final damos un poquito de espacio para preguntas y respuestas. De cualquier manera, esta presentación se las podemos compartir. Y nosotros también la subimos a nuestra página web por si se les perdió algo, la quieren compartir con alguien más, etcétera, etcétera. Entonces, por respeto al tiempo de todos, ya son las 7:02, entonces damos por comenzado este webinar.
Gracias, Sofía. Buenas noches a todos. I tricked you. You thought I was going to do it in Spanish, but I'm not. I'm going to do this in English. And I'm Kim Killingsworth. I'm the Director of International Recruiting and Relations for the Vanderbilt MBA. They're located in Nashville, Tennessee. And before I start my presentation, I'd like you to hear from one of our Mexican students, a second-year student, Patricio Rivera, who's going to talk about his experience in the MBA program. And then we'll let him jump off because he's very busy. We're getting towards the end of classes and then finals. And then I'll do my presentation and we'll have a Q&A. You'll also be able to ask questions of Patricio before he jumps off. Okay, great. So Patricio, do you want to introduce yourself? Talk about where you were before the MBA and what your concentration is.
Yeah, of course. So hi, everyone. I'm going to do it in English for the sake of being here. But my name is Patricio Loveira. I am originally from Monterrey, Mexico. That I hope we have some regios around. I was working in Mexico. I graduated from UT Austin in 2016, went back home to Monterrey to work, where I worked at Value. I don't know if any of you guys know Value Casa Bolsa, the company. I worked there for about 5 years until the pandemic hit. Stayed there part of the pandemic, but once I was coming to the US, I switched for a year to private equity real estate in the US. Applied to my MBA in different schools and opted for choosing Vanderbilt. And so far it has been a great experience. Two of the main reasons I picked Vanderbilt from the options I had, one was the city of Nashville. If you guys haven't visited, it's an amazing city. It really feels like a big city, but a town at the same time. And there's so much life, there's so much things going on at the same time that you will never be bored here. And you can learn a lot from a lot of different things. The second reason I ended up choosing Vanderbilt was because coming from such a big school that was UT Austin, and where I was basically at the number. I don't know if any of you guys feel this way when thinking about your college experience, that tu matrícula eres tú. I felt like that when I was in UT Austin, and the class size of Vanderbilt really called my attention, and I started talking with classmates that were coming. They weren't yet my classmates, but they were coming, and I kind of felt that I could build a large community here in Vanderbilt, and to be honest, that has been nothing but true. I have met people from a lot of different countries, but I have made a lot of connections even with Americans that maybe you wouldn't be able to do it in other schools, because there's like 700 people in your class or something like that. I think in my class we're like 180, right, Kim? Something like that.
182.
182. So I know all of my classmates. They know me. Right now we're watching the World Cup. I got like, I'm not kidding, like 52 condolences from different people. Like, hey man, we were rooting for Mexico because of you. And I was like, yeah, I'll believe you for now. and you make such a big community. And that's something that I wanted. That's something that has been true for me, and I'm really happy with that. Finally, something that really attracted me to Vanderbilt as well, even though I wasn't looking at staying at the US to work, like it was something that could happen, but it wasn't my optimal mission doing the MBA. I saw the numbers at the CMC, which is a career management center, had been getting the last few years. and I felt like if that's an opportunity I would like to take it, I better go to a school that has pretty good numbers in that. And I was impressed. Thankfully, I was able to get an offer for my internship in a big bank, in Bank of America, which is a bulge bracket bank. Not a lot of schools can get you in there, and even after the internship, I was able to secure a full-time offer. And I think if I would have gone to other schools, I wouldn't be telling this story like such as straightforward as it was, given the story that my recruiting was a very weird one. Kim knows this. While 1 year ago today, when I was recruiting, like having interviews and everything, I was having my first baby as well. So I like missed some of the, like I had a super day and interviews and stuff like that with banks and different companies, and I had to miss them because I had a something to do in the hospital, which was have a baby. And the CMC helped me like what I had to do in order to be able to talk with the companies. And at the end of the day, like one of the companies told me like, hey, when it comes to excuses, I think you have pretty much the best one. But like Vanderbilt sells the personal scale, which I have seen it in as a first hand. Like it really is like people who work in the CMC, even Kim has met my baby several times now. Like people here in Vanderbilt are aware of what you're doing. They're aware of how your traction is going and everything, and they care for you, which maybe at bigger business schools that wouldn't be the case. The final one, and something that has taken its time, but that if any of you guys apply and ultimately end up coming here to Vanderbilt, we have a brand new state-of-the-art building, which is it's pretty amazing, to be honest.
Fantastic. Thank you, Patricio. You've said it all. And you even got in a plug for that adorable little baby that I love.
Yeah.
Great. All right. I'd love to open it up for any questions that you may have for Patricio before he has to jump off. It's probably bedtime for your baby, not you.
They're in Mexico right now after the break, so I'm alone here.
Oh, okay.
Have to come for the finals, you know.
Okay, Humberto, you've got a question?
Yeah, hello, Kim. Nice to see you again. Hello, Patricio. It's nice to meet you. Thank you so much for sharing your experience with us. I spoke with two current students. They're actually Latin American, but first-year students, Carlos and Santiago. And what they told me there was they in their class they only had 4 Latin American students. How many Latin American students do you have in your second year? Huh?
So we're 2 Mexicans only, and there's 3 Peruvians or 4 Peruvians. There's a guy from Brazil. There's a guy from Ecuador, a girl from Chile. Marina is from LA, but she's Latino. Like she speaks Spanish perfectly and everything. I would say we have like maybe
probably about 10.
I was going to say about 10, 12. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think from my experience working I worked in the like with the applications, like talking with students who were applying. I think that future generations, I cannot promise this because I have no idea, but I think future generations will have more Latinos in there.
So I'm curious to know, Patricio, did you explore the option of the TN visa at all?
So I'm doing the OPT.
Okay.
And I am Vanderbilt was one of the first schools to offer this. Actually, my concentration, which is finance and data analytics, both of them are STEM. So STEM gives me 3 more years after the OPT. So I have basically 4 years of OPT. And after that, I could apply for the TN, but like I will also be applying for the normal visa each year of my OPT.
Okay.
That is an advantage that Mexico, like the TN and if you have STEM, especially TN is an advantage that both Mexico and Canada have with the US.
Yeah.
That you won't probably ever have to worry about the visa. You will just have to make the process and the bureaucracy of everything, but you
don't have to go through the lottery process of the H-1B. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions for Patricio? This is your chance. He's the one to ask.
Kim, I have another question, Patricio.
Go for it.
Thank you. Well, you're married, right? You just had a child. Do you live in the city center?
So that's actually a great question. I live near campus, but I live near campus the other side where not where Owen is. It's on like Owen is basically on West End Avenue, which West End Avenue takes you all the way to downtown. I live near the park, Centennial Park, and on a very quiet. We love this area. It's a quiet area. My wife is like, she has nothing to worry about, like going out the street or anything like that. She's alone like half of the day basically, and she loves like going out, walking on the park and stuff like that. It is like if I walk to Owen, not to campus. If I walk to Owen, it's about 20-25 minutes walk. But it's the campus is beautiful as long as it's not raining. It's pretty good. And I do everything. I bike. I bike to class. I walk to class. I even drive to class sometimes. And there's like if you have your Vanderbilt ID, the bus is free. And as long as you live in certain areas, there's a pretty good connections with the bus. And like for me, there's one bus going around every 15 minutes. So I also take the bus a lot.
So many of our students live in apartments near campus, some only 5 minutes away, so they can basically roll out of bed and get to class on time. And Vanderbilt is building a dorm for graduate students, and that'll be done by August, by the start of classes. And you can find information about that on the Vanderbilt website. It's called Broadview. There'll be an application process, but they do have the housing for graduate students.
Yeah, and Owen is on the Vanderbilt campus side of that. It's like in Midtown basically, and Midtown has like tons of apartments and a lot of like nightlife, restaurants, stuff like that.
And I don't know if you've ever experienced this, Patricio, but I know students have. Taylor Swift has a penthouse near there, and many students have seen Taylor Swift before.
I had heard the rumors. I've never seen it. Like
I haven't either, but
yeah,
I've heard the
rumors.
Can't guarantee you're going to see her if you move here, though. Any other questions for our student?
Well, Patricio, I'll take another question if nobody else.
Yeah, go for it, Humberto.
Thank you, Patricio. With respect to your internship, did you apply for your internship before you entered, before you started the Vanderbilt program, or was it during?
So I started the MBA program. You start like working with the CMC on if you don't know what you want to do, which a lot of people come to business school because they don't know what you want to do. They can help you with the leadership development program and everything like that. It wasn't my case. I was already like on the finance track. But yeah, I started working with even with like second year, what would be like people who graduated last year, second years for me when I was a first year, working with them. I've been working with first years nowadays, helping them. Like there's also that
It was a peer coach.
Bonding and peer coaching that you do with classmates that are not from your class, or they're a year younger, or not younger, but a year before you. And I applied. You start applying for internships like if it's investment banking, which is what I did, it's probably late November, early December, even until January. If it's consulting, it could be a little bit earlier. If it's tech, it's a little bit later. It depends on what you want to do.
Thank you so much.
Of course.
Okay, we've got a question from Marcela. Oh, you lived on Fairfax near Peabody. You were wondering about other programs. You were wondering what about other programs?
Yeah, I was wondering more about this session because I saw the session was about Vanderbilt, but I didn't notice that it was about the MBA.
Yes, this is specifically about the MBA.
Yeah, I attended as a Humphrey Fellow to the Peabody College, and part of my specialty, I did it at the Turner Center at Owen College.
Great.
Well.
When was that?
Yeah, so that was 2018, 2019.
Okay, we probably met then.
So yeah, probably. but I was wondering more about other programs and not
This
the
is specifically
MBA.
about the MBA.
Okay, well, thank you. It is so nice to hear about Vanderbilt. Patricio, have a great time. I lived on Fairfax and 21st, so for 10 months. So it was great experience and walking through Owen and Peabody all the time.
Okay.
So,
Thanks, Marcela.
So have a great experience.
Come visit.
I'm going for Christmas.
Oh,
so,
great. Come by and visit.
Yeah, for sure, guys. If you choose Nashville, Vanderbilt University, it gets into you. So best of luck. I'm gonna look for the information I need at the Peabody College, and thank you so much.
Great. Thanks, Marcela.
Bye.
Great. We've got a question from Ander, who actually came to visit us for Discover Vanderbilt Business, which was in early November. Hi, Ander.
I can.
So you want to go ahead and ask your question?
Oh, yeah. Just wondering if Patricio has interacted with graduated alumni from Mexico, either in Monterrey or Mexico City, and what has been your experience?
From Vanderbilt itself, or from? Okay, yeah. So current students, there were 2 Mexicans last year who helped me a lot. Annie and Jorge. They were really good. They both landed pretty good jobs. They were from Guadalajara, and Annie was from Monterrey. I know Annie has been very active still with like the whole Vanderbilt alumni network and everything. From Monterrey, I really didn't. I know a lot of people who have applied to Vanderbilt or who went to Vanderbilt at some point, but I haven't interacted with them like as an alumni, me already being here. Arturo, I have interacted with Arturo, which Kim knows well. And he still lives here in Nashville, and he's from Monterrey, and his brother went with me to UT Austin. So that's why I have interacted with him. But I really haven't looked like I haven't looked for like the interaction with other Mexicans that went to Vanderbilt here as the alumni, as the Owen alumni.
Okay,
Personally,
thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Patricio? No? Okay, great. Well, thank you so much, Patricio.
You're welcome. Happy to be here, and hope you guys have a nice presentation.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye. Okay. Hope you're all able to see that. So I hope that was helpful, having Patricio talk about his experience, and that hope you could envision yourself here. And now I'm going to talk a little bit about the program itself, and then we can open it up to questions at the end. So a little bit about Vanderbilt. We pride ourselves on having a personal scale, which is what Patricio referred to. We like to say that we are competitive, but not cutthroat. This is somewhere where professors are going to know you by name, as he also alluded to, and all the students know each other within their class level and also between the 2 classes. Every Thursday evening, we have what's called closing bell, like in the stock market, the end of the day. And it's just a way to celebrate the end of the class week, because there are no classes on Friday. That's when students really dedicate themselves to the job search, and often will do their interviews then. And we bring together the whole community, all of the students, faculty, staff, and we have a big like happy hour from 6 to 7:30. We have wine and beer. Often there's a food truck or a student group that's presenting. So it's just a way to create a sense of community. And we find that the smaller class size of about 175 students really is the sweet spot for us of where we can create that collaborative community. So we're offering a world-class education on a personal scale. And the student to faculty ratio is 7:1. very socially conscious. As Marcella referred to when she was a Humphrey Fellow here, she worked with the Turner Family Center for Social Ventures through the program that she was in. This is an umbrella organization that has to deal with anything dealing with a social ventures, corporate social responsibility, or sustainability. They have the Project Pyramid, which is a program that brings together graduate students from all different schools at Vanderbilt, and they work together on business problems to help alleviate poverty. Then over spring break, they travel together as small groups, and they go to places like Colombia, Kenya, Guatemala, and work with different NGOs to present their findings. And we also have Board Fellows, which is a program where students are able to serve on local boards of NGOs working on a project. So it's really a way to gain some leadership experience. Consistently ranked in the top 10% of business schools. You can see other rankings here, but we don't want you to focus just on rankings. There's so much more to focus on. Patricio talked a little bit about what a cool city Nashville is. Its nickname is Music City, USA. Great place for a family. Really good weather. It doesn't get too cold here. It snows maybe twice in the winter. We just get a tiny bit of snow that soon melts. So really, really nice place to live. Lots of green space. And it's considered a medium-sized city of about 1.9 million, but like Patricio said, it feels like a town. There are lots of different neighborhoods, and it's smaller, but it provides all the cultural opportunities of a big city. We have an official football team, official hockey team, all types of music, not just country music, which I'm really happy we've got all types because I don't care for country music. We're known for Southern hospitality. I always ask the international students what their biggest surprise was coming to Nashville. And they always say how friendly everybody is. The people on the street will say good morning to them, and they're not expecting that. This is a map here of all of the places you can get to within a 2-hour flight. So all of the cities on the East Coast, as well as Houston and Dallas, which makes it very centrally located for flights, very easy to get around. We have been named the friendliest city in the US. We're also the fastest growing city. There's something about 100 people a day who move here. Which leads to a lot of companies moving here, such as AllianceBernstein Finance has moved its headquarters from New York to here. We have the Nissan North America headquarters here. HCA Healthcare, Dollar General, Tractor Supply, just to name a few. And Amazon is going to be moving its Center for Excellence in Operations to Nashville. So they're building a huge campus. As I mentioned before, we are competitive, not cutthroat. There's a real emphasis on teamwork, and all the professors are going to know you by name. Just some of the professors. This is the class profile of the current class that started in August. It's a little bit smaller than 180. And you can see here what the undergraduate majors were. A little bit higher for the international percentage than typically. And I'd say don't get caught up on that 690 GMAT. Look more at that 80% range. That's where you want to make sure that you are. Alumni all over the world, including a big alumni base in Mexico City. We have a big commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion. We've created a committee of faculty, students, and staff to make sure that we are upholding this mission within the school. Here are some of our equity, diversity, and inclusion partners. Very military friendly. We do things a little bit differently academically. We divide our semesters into 2 mods. That means that classes are only 7 weeks long, and you get to take more electives because the first year you get to take 6 electives. Usually in MBA programs, you don't start your electives until the 2nd year. Here you take 6 the first year, meaning that by the time you go to your summer internship, you've already developed an expertise in an area. Second year is all electives, and we welcome you to take classes in any other school or department at Vanderbilt, and there's no extra charge. So for example, if you wanted to take an M&A class at the law school, you could do that as part of your MBA, which is a huge advantage. These are our different concentrations. So here on the left are the concentrations, which are like majors. It's how we group the electives. Everybody must take at least one concentration, and you can combine 2 or 3. Then within some of the concentrations, you can do a specialization. So for example, if you did marketing, you could do a specialization in brand management, which means just doing a few more classes specifically in brand management. Or you could do an emphasis by doing international studies, by going on a few of the international seminar trips. Here, the concentrations with that are starred are STEM designated, meaning that if you do a concentration in one of these, you will get an additional 24 months to stay in the US and work to do your OPT before you have to apply for your work visa. So as I mentioned, operations and analytics, finance, and also a new one, consumer psychology and marketing analytics. These are all STEM designated. Very experiential, hands-on. We have different career tracks led by our Career Management Center. One of them, for example, is the tech track, where early December, they will take a group of students to Silicon Valley and to Seattle and go to companies like HP, Amazon, which is our biggest employer in the Silicon Valley, Airbnb, Google, for example, where we have alums, and attend different presentations and hopefully get their feet in the door to be able to get an interview. This here is the healthcare immersion, where they are talking to the folks who do the life flight at the Vanderbilt Medical Center. We have a world-renowned medical center here, so we have a hospital on campus, which is where I bet Patricio's son was born. And this is the life flight helicopter, because we do offer a healthcare MBA, because Nashville is the hub of healthcare providers in the US. So even though somebody may not be in healthcare, often students will get a job in the healthcare industry because there are so many healthcare companies here, such as doing finance or marketing within a healthcare company. Renowned leadership development program. It lasts throughout the 2 years of the MBA. The way it works is we match up students with professional career executive coaches, people who have maybe 20 or 30 years working with mid-career executives. And they help the students work on their weaknesses as a leader to help craft their leadership style and turn those weaknesses into strengths. Second year of the program, they create a leadership blueprint, something that they can take away and have throughout their career to refer back to how they want to show up as a leader. We believe there's no one definition of leadership. So everybody brings different experience, professional and personal, to the MBA and is looking for a different leadership style. So this program really helps students develop their own personal style. A little bit about our clubs, all different types of clubs. And if you are bringing a spouse, your spouse is welcome to join any of the social clubs. Application checklist. We've got, as part of the application, we have a video component, which a lot of applicants get really nervous about. My advice is have fun with it, have a glass of wine before, and just relax and have fun with it. It's basically 3 different opportunities, 3 different prompts that you'll get. If you don't like the first one, you can say no, you can take the second one or say no and get up to 3. And you're given 60 seconds to prepare and then 90 seconds to deliver. And these are fun topics, such as icebreaker type of questions. So there's nothing that you need to be worried about. It's just a way for us to see how you present on a topic that you don't previously know about. We only have 2 short essays, 150 words each. They're very straightforward. What are you looking to do after the MBA? And tell us something that we wouldn't know about you from reading your application. So very straightforward, nothing tricky. We require the GMAT, the GRE, or the executive assessment, or a test waiver. You can apply for a test waiver with instructions on our website, and you can have one or the other. You can't have both. So if you are granted the test waiver, you can't then supply a GMAT score, for example. For the waiver, we're typically looking for people who have a heavy quantitative background through their undergraduate studies and probably at least 5 years work experience in a very analytical and quantitative position. We also require the IELTS, the Duolingo English test, or the TOEFL for international students, unless they did their undergraduate degree in an English-speaking country. Highly recommend the Duolingo English test. You take it at home, online, whenever you want. It's only $49. It's only 1 hour in length. There's no extensive study, and the results come to us 2 days after you take the test. So with the TOEFL and the IELTS, it takes about 6 days or so before they get the results. And then you need to request them to be sent to Vanderbilt. That can take another 10 days. So I'm really recommending the Duolingo English test to people. You submit all of this, and hopefully you will get an invitation to interview. All of our interviews are online. They're all virtual. So if you come to campus, unfortunately, we're not offering interviews. We'll give you a tour, but we're not offering interviews. They're all online. And then you wait for the decision of the admissions committee. If you are admitted, you'll have about a month to decide if you're going to join us, and you'll need to deposit $2,500 at that time. These are our application deadlines. The next deadline is January 9th. If there's any way you can apply before then, go ahead. We are constantly looking at applications. So I recommend that you get it in before January 9th if possible. And technically, internationals can also apply on March 31st, but that makes it very, very stressful if you are admitted, because you won't know until May 5th. And then you have to really get everything in order, get your loan in order, get everything in order to be able to be here by the beginning of August. So it can be very, very stressful. So I recommend round 1 or round 2. As far as scholarships, we are partnered with FUNED. We guarantee that if you have a FUNED Beca Préstamo, that we will guarantee a minimum of $20,000 per year. It could be more than that based on your qualifications. All of our scholarships are merit-based. So we're looking at your undergraduate GPA, your test scores, and your work experience. All of that is taken into consideration. We offer a Dean's Scholarship, where a very small group of students, maybe about 10 students a year, are awarded this elite scholarship. It's like a leadership role representing the university. It's full tuition for 2 years, and it involves special programming with the dean and other VIP visitors. All of our scholarships are merit-based. As I mentioned, they're anywhere from $10,000 up to full tuition. And about 70% of our students receive some form of scholarship. And as I mentioned, the Dean scholarships are usually about 10 per year. We also have scholarships for the LGBTQI community, for women. We belong to the Forte Foundation, for diversity. So all different types of opportunities. A little bit about the Career Management Center. Patricio alluded to the help that he received from them. Everybody has their own personal Career Management Center coach, and that's usually based on the career track that they're going to. So for example, if you're going into consulting, which this past year has been the biggest industry that our students have gone into, I believe about 31%, then you would meet with one coach. If you're going into healthcare, it would be another one, etc. And you would receive assistance from them, guiding you on which national MBA events to attend, as well as which companies to meet with who come on campus to recruit. They also look at your resume and help you with mock interviewing, as do the peer coaches, the second-year students who help the first-year students with mock interviewing as well. These are the top hiring companies for the past 2 years. So hopefully some of these will appeal to you. As I said before, Amazon is our #1 employer. We're very proud of this base salary for the class of 2022. Signing bonus, $34,262. And I love this fact that 84% of the class received their job offers because of some kind of Vanderbilt connection. And then 3 months after graduation, 97% of the class had offers. So as I mentioned, consulting is the biggest industry that our students went into this past year. And by job function, is the job functions, again, consulting, and then finance, marketing. And this is the industries. Next steps, I highly recommend you reach out to current students. We have a whole group of ambassadors. They're called student fellows. They're listed on our website under Connect with a Student. And they are there to be able to provide you guidance, not such as, this is my GMAT score, will I get in? They're looking to share their experience with you and talk about what they were doing before Owen, what their internship was like, how they worked with the Career Management Center. So I could encourage you to reach out to them and talk to them about their experience. They're all organized by concentration. So if you want to go into consulting, we've got all the strategy fellows. So it's very easy to find somebody to chat with, and they would love to talk to you. All of you have your own personal recruiting manager throughout this process. I mentioned that we offer personal scale. That means that myself or one of my colleagues will work with you one-on-one throughout the whole application process, just as you'll have your own Career Management Center coach. So hopefully you received email. If you're in our system, you received email from your from your recruiting manager, and you'll know who that is. And if you are already in the system and you don't know who it is, you can reach out to me and ask me, and I can tell you who that person is. Okay, I would love to open it up for any questions that you may have. Humberto, can we count on you for questions?
Yes, actually, I have a question. Thank you so much. I had a question with the leadership development program. Is it like a concentration or like an emphasis?
No, it is not for credit. It's optional. So it's not a class, it's a program. So MBA programs all teach leaderships in some way, but they go about doing it differently. Some may have a 1-month class, or they infuse it throughout the program. We do it as a 2-year program running in parallel with the MBA. So you say at the beginning of the program, yes, you're interested. Before you even arrive here, we send you the Hogan assessment for leadership. And you take that helps determine what your strengths and your weaknesses are as a leader. You then come to campus and you debrief with the LDP team. And they help you decide whether you want to do the individual approach where you're working one-on-one with a coach, or the shared approach where you're working in a small group, maybe 4 students with a coach. So you get a lot of guidance from the LDP team. And you'll get homework from the coach that you can then put into practice once you've developed those skills.
Thank you.
So thank you for that.
Kim, there's a question from Selene. She wrote it on my private chat. She asks, some of the students graduated are working on the beauty and personal care industry.
I remember we had a Mexican who did his internship with L'Oreal in New York. I don't know in particular anybody offhand, but I'm sure there must be.
Thank you.
Typically, those companies wouldn't come to campus recruiting MBAs. So that would be a connection that you would probably make through alumni with the help of the Career Management Center coach. We also have another Mexican Ani Sanchez, who Patricio referred to, who just graduated in 22, and she was working for Mary Kay Cosmetics before she came to the program in Monterrey, but now she's working for Mattel. So she went from Mary Kay to Barbie.
Exactly.
But again, that would be somebody you could be in contact with while doing the MBA for networking purposes. That's how it works here, because everybody knows each other.
That's great. Anyone else?
Kim, well, I have another question.
Okay.
And it's with respect to the courses, to the classes you can take with other schools, not from the Owen School of Business.
Uh-huh.
Do they count as electives?
Yes. Yes. They would need to be graduate level courses, and you would have to get approval beforehand, and they have to fit within the schedule. But yes, they would count as electives towards your MBA degree.
Or thank you.
Mhm.
Jose is asking, when can we see the webinar in the FUNED page? This week, at the end of the week, probably tomorrow or Friday, it'll be there.
But it's here right now.
It's
So
here
enjoy
right
it right now.
Exactly. So Jose, if you have any questions, don't hesitate.
Kim, one question. Could you please repeat about the scholarships, or how kind of scholarship do you have?
Yeah, all of our scholarships are merit-based, and anybody who is admitted will automatically get reviewed for scholarship. You don't have to apply separately, except for the Dean's Scholarship, you have to write an essay. If you are a FUNED recipient, then you automatically get a minimum of $20,000 scholarship from us. That's what our agreement is with FUNED. And you could possibly get more based on merit.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. We also belong to Forte, which is a foundation that supports women in MBA programs. So that you could possibly have a Forte scholarship as well, which would give you entree into the Forte Foundation, which has its own set of benefits as far as having that network.
Okay, thank you.
Sure, I recommend that you look up the Forte Foundation just to see what's that all about.
I'll research. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. You can also
And
join their launch program before you even apply to MBAs, and that could be really helpful for you too. So just go to Forte Foundation and look for the launch program, which you could join now.
Okay, and regarding the work, working after finish the MBA, what are the possibilities to stay there in the US?
The possibilities that you create. So hopefully from your summer internship, you'll be able to get an offer from the company. About 50% of the students get an offer from the internship. And if you don't, then you'll be able to apply for interviews with all the companies that come to campus, or some that don't come to campus as well. Depends on what you're looking for. So you'll work with your own personal career management center coach based on what your goals are.
And how long time do we have to find an offer after finishing the MBA?
You have 12 months to stay in the US and work. I'm not sure how much time you have before you have to have a job, because in 2021, by 3 months after graduation, 100% of our international students had job offers. So we're very, very proud of that. And so you more than likely are going to have a job offer soon after graduation, if not by graduation.
Okay, thank you.
And if you do a STEM designated concentration, you will get an additional 24 months to stay in the US and work before you have to get the H-1B work visa or the TN visa.
Perfect, thank you.
You can find more information about visas on the US government Department of State website under visas. Any other
Thank you.
questions? This is a quiet group tonight.
Let's see.
No? Okay, great. Well, thank you, everybody. I appreciate you spending part of your evening with me and hearing from Patricio. Thank you, Sophia. I appreciate it. And I can't wait to go back to Ciudad de Mexico.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for your time and for sharing and for getting Patricio on board. I think it was great to hear from him. And anyone else, if there are any further questions, please do not hesitate to contact us and we will be happy to help with
Great.
anything you might need.
Thank you so much.
I had just one question. I thought Sophia was gonna talk about the FUNED. The FUNED, is it a loan or the scholarship or loan
Sí.
program, right?
I can talk a little bit about FUNED before we go. So FUNED, it's a credit scholarship financing for master programs. They have to be good ranked, well-ranked programs in abroad. So Vanderbilt fits perfectly with what we're looking for. And what we do is of the loan that you get, 90% is in the form of credit, which you will have to pay back. This comes back to a fund, so we can re-lend it to other students that want to go to in the future. And then 10% of what you get is scholarship. And then of course you get the scholarship from the schools. As Kim said, you could get up to $20,000 with Vanderbilt.
Minimum.
Minimum, yes. And then you have to start paying 6 months after you finish your program, which if you go to Vanderbilt, that wouldn't be a problem because as Kim said, within 3 months, you are most likely to have a good job. The interest rate is 7.95, so it's lower than inflation, and it's fixed and it's annual. And what you need, you need to be Mexican, you need to have an acceptance letter from the school, and then you register in our system, and then you go through a process of interviewing from our committee, and they approve the amount that you might get. What we do, we pay directly to the school, so the money doesn't go to your bank accounts, it goes directly to Vanderbilt. And then you start repaying, as I said, 6 months after you finished. You're not required to come back to Mexico. We'll be proud of you wherever you wish to stay and live and work. And that's it.
And Sophia, is it okay if they are living outside of Mexico when they apply?
Yes, they just need to be Mexican.
Right, okay.
And you can also apply to the FIDER loan as well. So you can get both.
And we're in the process of signing a contract with FIDER.
That's great.
So that answer your questions, Humberto?
Yes, thank you so much, Sophia.
Sure. Hopefully, some of you can come visit us in Nashville. We'll show you a good time. We have Discover Vanderbilt Business, the same program that UNED attended in November. We're doing it February 4th and 5th. And if you can't come in person, then you can attend virtually Saturday morning on February 5th for 3 hours. You'll be able to attend sessions. We have a mock class, we have a student panel, and folks from the Career Management Center presenting. If you come in person, you get to go to all the receptions.
Jose, you had a question?
Hi, yes. Kim, about the acceptance process, we can when can we send the application? For example, we can send the application for in January, and we can be accepted for the next 6 months, the second cohort.
What do you mean the next 6 months?
Yeah, I don't know if this program apply only every 1 year or is every 6 months.
It starts only once. It starts in August. This year it started on August 12th. So you can only join in August. So the
Okay.
round 2 deadline is in January. If you apply in January, by the end of March, you'll have your decision.
Okay, that's very important because that means that I need to have all the documentation already in line.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you very much.
Mhm.
Sorry, Kim, if we send our application before the deadline, which is January the 9th, is it possible we can get the result before March?
No. But I have seen people who already applied for round 2 who have already had their interview. So you can get that out of the way.
Okay, thank you.
But no, the decisions all come out at once on the decision date, because we have to meet as an admissions committee and we take the whole pool into consideration. We don't do one-off decisions.
Thank you.
But nice try.
Maybe
If
a
you'd like to
Christmas
get things
present.
out of the way and have a really nice Christmas, then apply early. Any other questions? You've all had great questions. Thank you. And I really do hope you can come visit. We had a visitor from Peru today, and he loved it so much, he canceled his flight to go home, and he's going to extend another day so that he can go out tonight. All right, everybody. Thank you for attending. Sorry to hear the results of the Copa Mundial.
That's okay.
Thank you
Thank you,
so much
Kim.
for-
Thank you for your time and for your presentation. And I hope some of you apply and go to Nashville next year.
All right, Sophia, come visit.
Yes, I would love
Take
to.
care. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you so